Action fanatics, welcome to another edition of the Bulletproof Podcast. I'm your host, Chris the Brain. Joining me once again, it's the Toyman, Chris DePetrillo.
Hello, hello. Happy to be here. This is it's becoming a very frequent tradition between you and I. Not a lot of downtime in between episodes that you and I have been getting together for.
That is true, but somebody who's had quite a bit of downtime, and he's back with us for this very special holiday edition of the podcast. It's Ryan Campbell.
That's right. I was on here, it seemed like 3 or 4 straight, and then got a lengthy... You like to keep us on the rotation. I appreciate it.
Well, I know you all have busy lives. And, you can't always do it. Sometimes some movies are better done by one or the other or whatever, but this is a great film. Well, it's a canon film. Somewhat. It's kind of a canon film. And it's a Christmas film as well, folks, because we're talking Cobra today. But before we get into that, Toyman, we had quite the episode last time with a very special guest.
We did. Last week, you and I sat down with Mr. Dale Jacoby, shooting star Dean Ramsey from No Retreat, No Surrender. Also, from another Christmas classic, Die Hard 2. We got a great story about Die Hard 2. And, it was a really candid, off the cuff, very entertaining chat. Dale really kept us on our toes, and I hope the listeners really enjoyed listening to that episode as much as we did having it because, he was a shooting star for our podcast. I'll say that. We went in not knowing what to expect, and man, he delivered with some really cool stories of his history in Hollywood.
Yeah, I the only thing I knew is I probably wouldn't have to do much work. I just had to sit back and enjoy the ride. And I certainly did. And yeah, we do want to thank Dale for joining us on the show. And before we get into this show, you know what I got to plug. You know I have to talk about it. It's bulletproofaction.com, the official website of this podcast. Chris, you recently just covered the fantastic Abraxas.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I sat back and watched that one, and I did not remember anything about it that made me want to run back to it. And watching it again, let's just say I could see why it's been probably 2 decades since I sat down and watched that movie in full without the help of the riff tracks team.
That may have been your final viewing of Abraxas when you think about it. Like, why would you ever need to
It's
go back
possible.
to it?
That's true. I mean, stranger things have happened. You might say, "Hey, Toyman, you know what? We're running low on content. We got to do a Braxis on the podcast." And then, you know me, I like to do my research.
Yeah,
But
we have
between
mentioned that before. I know a couple of years, like, it's Christmas time. You can just pull anything that had any kind, as long as it had some garland in the background, we can do it.
also, we should do the Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland, right? Oh,
Oh,
dad joke time. You see
jeez.
that? I'm showing my age here.
Oh my, that was awful. And of course, another thing going on the website, Ryan Campbell. I know you're very excited because we've got more Star Wars content.
That's
And when
right.
there's Star
All
Wars
Star Wars
content, we know Ryan Campbell's going to be busy.
That's right. Skeleton Crew going on right now. It's fantastic. I really feel like the listeners of the podcast, visitors of our site would really enjoy it. It has the heavy 80s kind of coming of age, Goonies, Amblin Entertainment, Stranger Things kind of feel to it with the kid characters and everything. It's really good adventure, fun to watch. So we're going through that. We're only 3 episodes in, and that'll be tomorrow. I don't know what happens when that thing comes out. It feels like they keep moving it around, but I believe it will be tomorrow at 9:00, and then we'll try to get it up tomorrow night. But that has been going on, so follow on for that. And also this week is the second half of the season of Secret Level, which, if you're not familiar, is kind of like an anthology series from the same people that did Love, Death, and Robots, all based around kind of video game properties. So we're going to watch the rest of those, and then we're going to do a ranked article and rank them in the order that we liked them. So all that coming up here in the next few weeks.
If you were just speaking English in that last bit, I had no idea what you said, but that's all right. I love content, and I'm sure there's many people out there that are on board with what you're talking about. My last 2 posts on the site, I did a movie called The Stabilizer, which is one of the greatest movies I've seen in quite some time. Because if you need something stabilized, you call the stabilizer.
I like it. Is that different than the Equalizer?
It is, but also,
One equalizes things, and the other things
yeah,
just kind of keeps everything stable.
yeah. He he
Things terminated.
he fixes the balance between good and evil. That was a fantastic film in the way that one would think of. I mean, the movie starred Peter O'Brien, and for those of you unfamiliar with Peter O'Brien, he was in a movie called The Intruder, which was a Rambo-like movie, so much that his character's name in that was Rambo.
Love it.
And that was a fantastic movie, and I love that, and so getting more was even better. And then I revisited The Last Boy Scout, which I had not seen in probably since the 90s. Another great movie that I forgot how great it was. And do you know what these two movies had in common, Toyman?
Stabilization.
Each of these movies contained 12 bastards.
Ooh, we were keeping a bastard count.
We are
A bastard tie.
we are keeping a bastard count. That's 7 movies now.
Is that a bastard's dozen?
It is. That's 7 movies I have now watched and counted that have double-digit bastards. I'm very excited.
That were not 1970s kung fu
And yeah,
films.
with The Last Boy Scout really shocked me. I mean, that's as mainstream of a bastard-filled movie as you're going to get, I think. So
That's some mainstream bastard. That's some Hollywood bastardization.
Shane Black, good job. Good job on that. I think it's his birthday, and you know who else's birthday it is as we're recording this? The Toyman, Chris DePetrillo.
That's right. It is also the 7-year anniversary of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, which is I'm constantly on Team Last Jedi. I'll defend it to my dying day.
7 years. Wow.
7 years.
Now, Brain, you must be enjoying that because that's the second time today your acknowledgement of my birthday has been followed up with a reference to Star Wars.
Yeah.
You have been trolling me all day with that one. I believe it was Sean Cavender
Yep.
on Twitter left me a birthday message, which was a Star Wars meme. And everybody out there, if you're new to the podcast, if you're new to this program, Star Wars is something that I am just not a fan of. Never stuck with me. I have not seen anything since the original movies all those years ago. Just don't follow it. More of a Marvel and DC superhero comic book type of guy. And Brain loves it when people lump me in
Yeah.
with the Star Wars crowd.
I do. Because you're in a freaking field of work that would not exist if not for Star Wars. That's the
That's a
irony.
good point.
This is true.
That is the irony of it.
But I mean, just think, Ryan Campbell's doing Star Wars content from Disney Plus, and I talked about stuff like Black Belt 2.
I understand. Well, we all have our niche in this.
Some of us need to fall on our sword every once in a while.
That's right.
We all have.
There's only so much time in the day to allocate to everything.
We all have our own beats that we cover, so to speak, here on the podcast and on the site. On the podcast, you don't know, we all come together. We're all coming together here tonight because we're going to talk about, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. We're talking Cobra, another in the long line of Christmas action movies. This one, a little bit canon, a little bit Warner Brothers, and a whole lot of Sylvester Stallone, Toyman.
A whole lot of Sylvester Stallone because this almost was not a Sylvester Stallone vehicle. Those people out there wondering what I'm talking about is that Cobra is a very direct action film. It's not very witty as far as the banter. It's not what you'd call a buddy cop movie or an action comedy, but Cobra is Sylvester Stallone's vision of what he thought Beverly Hills Cop should have been.
That is correct.
Well, that's very different than Beverly Hills Cop.
Very much so. Very much so. And it starts off with some crime statistic narration by Mr. Stallone himself. And boy, I don't think Morgan Freeman has anything to worry about.
No, that narration job, there's a reason why Sly is not running neck and neck with Mr. Freeman.
Correct. We get the opening credits. We get this look at a cult, Ryan Campbell. There's some kind of cult.
Yeah, we got guys in business suits and biker looking guys. This is a very diverse cult. I will give it that. There's all types. The ne'er-do-wells and the rich CEO types seem to all be, part of this cult here.
And they're looking for a new world, and they're going to try to make it happen. And the opening credit sequence ends with the up close and personal of Cobra's gun, one of his guns, and then we get into the action because one of those cult members goes into the King Market parking lot, parks in a handicapped spot like a bastard would. And Chris, this is a guy we just saw not too long ago in a kind of a similar role.
Yeah, so those who listen to the podcast may recall we recently covered Maniac Cop 2, an absolutely awesome action movie from the video store era. Run out and listen to that
With a
episode. Run out and watch that
with a
film.
fantastic rap
And
song.
yes, the
That
Maniac Cop
just
rap, because everything in the 90s had to have a rap
that
song.
just took me by storm. That made I was loving that movie all the way through, and then the end credits has this rap song, and I said, "Well, oh, come on, yeah,
Instantly adds
That's
2
right.
points.
That was the first time you watched that movie in full. I forgot that
that's
was the
right."
first time you watched that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. But here in Cobra, actor by the name of Marco Rodriguez, who started off Maniac Cop 2 by holding up a convenience store until he was disassembled as Johnny Five, decides to be the guy who's going to rob the King Market, which I'm sure is going to put him in the crosshairs of Mr. Cabretti, aka Cobra.
But did he park in a handicap spot in Maniac Cop 2?
I don't.
He was on
Yeah, he
foot
was
in
on
Maniac
foot. Yeah.
Cop 2.
I bet you he didn't put his cart back in the corral either.
Oh no, he wouldn't do that. And we see that it is in fact just our first indication that it is Christmas time because we see some of the decorations in the store and in the window. One of the clerks notices him and kind of could tell that maybe this guy's a little off. And that clerk was played by Sylvester Stallone's cousin. Look at nepotism at its best.
This is the kind of info you get here on the Bulletproof Podcast.
So he's like, "Hey, do you need something? Do you need something, mister?" And he ends up getting killed because that's what happens because the bad guy has a shotgun.
Speaking of decor and shotguns,
Yeah.
This had one of the coolest Pepsi displays
yeah.
I've ever seen.
I know.
Was that a real display? I mean, I was born in 1986, so Brain, you might have to fill me
I
in
don't
on this.
remember.
Was that like a common display that was around grocery stores?
Not that I
like
can
the
recall.
Pepsi pouring into a cup?
Not that I can recall.
I remember something similar from a mini mart. I don't remember it in a supermarket, but I have a vague recollection of seeing that the little, basically looking like the giant Pepsi
Yeah.
is pouring into a
Yeah,
cup.
that was cool.
I remember it, and I could be confusing it with like a slush puppy type thing,
Right.
but I feel like I saw it at a mini mart because there was a similar thing for like slush puppies, like the drinks that you would make at a mini mart that had
Right.
something like that too.
Supermarket displays that have like gears and motors within standees and stuff. It's just always cool stuff. I guarantee there's probably some niche Instagram page for those of the
Probably.
past, but they don't. You don't get that kind of effort anymore.
No, I will say
No, now
this.
they just build the local team logo out of soda cases.
I will say this. If there's one out there on eBay and anyone wants to buy it for me, I think it would be a fine addition to my home.
That would be sweet.
Yeah, and once that shotgun comes out, gentlemen, the King Market instantly becomes one of the world's most dangerous supermarkets.
Boom.
I mean,
That's up there.
mm-hmm.
Did you already do that one?
Nope, but it's on the list.
Ooh, I have some other ones I need to send you.
Okay.
See if they're on there.
Okay, yeah, because I may be still shy at one or two. So you know what happens in these types of scenarios? The police show up, they surround the building, the bad guy's still inside, he's got people inside, he's got hostages. We get Detective Monty, played by Andrew Robinson, who is a complete douchebag in this entire film. He's trying to negotiate. It's going nowhere. So then we get Captain Sears, played by the great Art LaFleur. And he says, "You know what, Monty? Call the Cobra." And that...
The guy you call in when it's all gone to shit.
Absolutely. So then the bad guy, we go cut to him while we wait for Cobra to show up. Bad guy's like, "Oh yeah, hostage, you can go. You can go." Hostage is a little hesitant. Okay, so he starts walking towards the door, and what does the bad guy do? Except shoot him in the back.
Ugh. When you have a movie like this and you're gonna bend the rules of the law a little bit with someone like Cobra, you really have to make your bad guys as like dastardly asshole-ish as possible so that it's justified what's coming for him.
And we get the first look at what I call the Cobra Mobile as it rolls into the parking lot. And there he is, Lieutenant Cobretti, aka Cobra, Sylvester Stallone himself, gets a quick rundown from his partner, Sergeant Gonzalez, played by Rennie Santoni. Monty, of course, has to make sure he lets Cobra know, I don't support the decision to bring you in on this. Because again, Monty, any chance he has to just be a douche in this movie, he takes it, Chris. He is like the William Atherton.
He's the bureaucratic asshole.
Oh, he is. He is. He's the worst. I think he had a similar role. He may have been the original bad guy in the Dirty Harry movie, but I think he came back and was kind of like that to Dirty Harry. He was like the pain in the ass, like, I don't like your tactics type. Yeah.
Well, listen, when you got these vigilante types with badges that are running around and just causing all kinds of problem and collateral damage, that all has to land on someone. They're not the ones that have to answer for all this at the end of the day. So yeah, that gets you maybe a little under the collar and maybe not so easy to just pull these guys in with these things because he knows he's going to have a shitstorm to clean up after this.
Well, Cobra does go in despite Monty's protest, and this is where we do get to see that wonderful Pepsi display. And a little bit more product placement because Cobra, he cracks open a Coors. Because why not?
A supermarket scene is a nice seamless way to just insert as much product placement as possible because it's organic. Just shove it all in that scene, and then you've got your quota for the movie. Good to go.
There's a little bit of Hostess in there as well, which also among my top brands. The bad guy is asking where the TV cameras are. So obviously, there was a motive behind what he was doing other than he's just crazy. He wants to get the word out about the new world. And he's threatening to kill more hostages if the TV cameras don't show up. And that's when Cobra gets on the PA and I don't deal with psychos. And of course, the bad guy's like, I'm the hero here. I'm trying to save the world. And that's where we get the line, Chris.
The famous line where Cobra says, "You're the disease and I'm the cure." And it's not long that this man is about to meet his maker the same way that he did in Maniac Cop 2, available now on your previous Bulletproof podcast if you're looking that up. Cheap plug.
Yep, check the archives because, he gets shot with Cobra and his cool Cobra pistol. I remember when this came out, 1986. I was very well conditioned that Cobra was bad.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Cobra were the bad guys, even though I loved them. But they were the bad guys. So it was a little like, oh, what? He's the hero? But Cobra's bad. But it's all right. It's all right. Cobra.
You didn't call him a reptilian popinjay?
Yeah, nobody said that in this movie, which is a damn shame. Cobra heads home. And we've got some Latino gangbangers in his parking spot. And Cobra nudges them out of the way with his Cobra mobile. And when the leader comes out, gets in his face, that doesn't go very far. Cobra shuts him down, he heads inside, gets to his apartment, and then, Chris, perhaps one of the most famous scenes in the entire movie.
You mean when he decides to forego the use of traditional silverware to prepare his pizza?
That is correct.
And cleans his gun?
That is right. We're cutting our pizza with scissors.
It's the working man. It's the working man's hero. He's going to appeal to the everyman. We're talking about a vigilante here. He's not going to deal with those bureaucratic assholes. He's going to be the guy that everybody strives to be, the Al Bundy of crime fighting.
Oh, interesting. We get a Toys R Us Christmas commercial on the TV as well, which is nice.
If I'm correct, there's no reference to Christmas outside of just set dressing and background stuff, correct? Like it plays no part in the plot.
That is correct.
It's kind of like a First Blood Christmas movie,
Right.
same type of way.
You are correct. It's not like Die Hard where there is certainly Christmas elements in there with
Right,
miracles
like the
and
plot does
family
kind of
coming together
hinge.
and yeah, all
It's a Christmas party,
right.
like yeah.
Right. This one is definitely one where somebody could argue it's not. It's just taking place during Christmas. As far as
I mean, if Cobra was taking place during the modern day and we saw those Christmas decorations, you wouldn't know if it was December or August with the way these stores are
oh
now.
yeah, here we go. This now we're talking like radio. Go on. Any other things to say?
I'll just say this:
Just an observation.
I always hear people complain about it, and then before you know it, Christmas is next week. So
You're
like,
right, Ryan Campbell.
it comes so fast that
That's what
yeah,
she
at the
said.
time, for Chad Cruz. At the
Oh, take
time, it
that. That's what you
feels.
get for not being here.
That's right. At the time, it feels a little early, but I mean, it before you know it, now it's too late. I have my Etsy shop, and I got shit I gotta ship out, and I'm looking at all the
You're
dates,
gonna
and I'm
miss.
like, oh
You
man, they're
got
not
like
gonna get
you
there in
got like
time.
yeah. You got one more day to get it to where it possibly might get there. After that, you're SOL, people. Um. So yeah, we get the Toys R Us commercial. Then we go to the news talking about a cereal.
I miss Toys R
I
Us.
do as well. I certainly do as well. There's news talking about a serial killer running wild in Los Angeles, up to victim number 16. And right after that, Chris, we get to see victim number 17. When
The hits just keep
this
on
poor woman
rolling.
just cleaning up at the diner, and oh, it's sad.
No motivation that we know of. No real, we weren't introduced to this character prior to the slaying. It's basically just like, let's add to the body count.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make a true heel, a monster heel out of this character, out of this killer.
Yeah, I don't know if it's maybe that the movie is doing it just again to build up our disdain for them, or if it plays into the thought process of the victims, but they all seem to be like genuinely good, like caring people. Like they all seem, like I mean, not just average people. They're all like kind-hearted, working hard, innocent people. So, like the movie goes out of its way to show that before they're all like ritualistically killed. So, I don't know if that plays into the killing mindset or if the movie's just doing that to just make us as sympathetic as possible for Cobra.
Now, maybe that plays into the Christmas theme that all these good, kind-hearted people are the ones getting paid out. Maybe
Ah,
that's the
yeah.
message. You know,
Don't do good things for people. That's the message. DTA.
Well,
be an asshole.
it's somewhere. We might have to work on that message. The next day, the cops are debating what to do because this is obviously a big freaking problem when just random people who have never caused any problem are dying violently because they're being murdered. That's how you die violently. Cabretti wants to get involved, of course, because this seems like a disease that I can cure. But Monty, once again, is like, no, no, no. Why don't you just stick to the zombie squad, you bastard?
And a year later, Shane Black would stick to the Monster Squad.
Oh wow, we're bringing man. This is just
All comes full
it's
circle.
this
See
is
that?
it's information overload. It's now time to see victim number 18 get hers. And we also get to see the leader of this New World cult. He's a man who goes by the name of Night Slasher.
Down, 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 burn, burn, burn.
Not that not that New World.
New World cult.
Okay. Night Slasher, played by a very recognizable man, Chris. A face only a mother can love.
Yes, Mr. Brian Thompson, one of the more recognizable character actors of 80s and 90s. Obviously, very familiar with him from this film and from one of my video store era favorites, Rage and Honor, where he played the brother slash rival of Cynthia Rothrock. And I don't know if you recall this, but this is probably back during like peak COVID times when we were all on lockdown, and I was watching Rage and Honor one day, and I tweeted out a picture of Brian Thompson and Terry Trees from that film. and said, "Gonna grow up and tell my kids that this was Edge and Beth Phoenix," because Mr. Thompson does remind me of current day Adam Copeland quite often.
They got that jawline. It's that distinct jawline, I think.
And
We're
and
getting
yeah,
that.
and the eyes probably as well.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those guys where I know from a lot of things, but I don't know what from. Like I can't tell you what's the one thing I know him from, or what is the first one that kind of comes to mind, because it's just been in so many things from around this time that I've seen in movies and growing up seeing on what was ever on, Star 64 on a Saturday afternoon kind of stuff. So I'm not even sure what I know him from the first time from, but yeah, definitely a recognizable, memorable face.
I will tell you
To me, he's like,
the first thing
I was
I
gonna say,
think
he's
of.
like Michael Berryman from The Hills Have
Yeah,
Eyes, who then popped up in like Weird Science and everything.
the first movie I always think of with Mr. Brian Thompson is Lionheart.
Yes.
That is
Yeah, another
that is a good
excellent
one. But he's also in Fright Night Part 2, and he eats bugs.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Correct.
Thank you. We also meet his main squeeze, Nancy Stalk. And
What a name.
indeed,
The Night Slasher and Nancy Stalk.
yeah, she should have been
Are they trying to drive something home here?
Sounds like the detective that would have been in Silk Stockings back in the
Oh,
day.
Silk Stockings. Let me tell you something, Binge Channel. I'm very happy you brought back my Thursday Silk Stockings, because you took it off for 2 weeks and I was getting real nervous. But it's back, baby. And it's
Can we get an essential episodes from you, sir? Can
I
we get
have to
some
keep
essential silk
I'm gonna have to
stockings?
keep watching again, and yes, I could probably come up with something. I gotta watch
That opening credits come on after Raw, man. Woo, you were
the
in
remote stop there, I'll tell you right now. Basic cable erotica, ladies and
for it. That's
gentlemen.
right.
I was there for it, and I'm there for over the air erotica now. So yeah, we've got but you know who else sees? We're not the only one who sees these people, because wrong place, wrong time. Ingrid Brigitte Nielsen, she's driving by and she gets the bejesus scared out of her when she looks at that ugly puss of the Night Slasher. And she is able to drive off, but there's those Stalk barking, "Oh, get the license plate number!" And now we know that poor old Ingrid, they're going to probably try to make her number 19. Go back to the cops. Captain Sears is now at his wit's end, and he says it. This is not me just adding it in there. He says, time to bring in the bastard. And he's talking about Cobra. So there's a bastard for the credit of this film.
Ding.
Nope.
Not
Yeah, I
the
was gonna say we need like the chime or the bell. We need the sound effect for the bastard count.
I do have my.
bastard
I
bell.
should bring my bell out. I'll bring it next time. Cobretti and Gonzalez begin pounding the pavement, looking for leads. We also then see Ingrid at her work as a model, and all of this, Chris, is brought to us with in montage style. And what a classic tune! Another Robert Tepper classic. He and Stallone seem to work well together.
Yeah, we hear Angel of the City, and I'm glad you mentioned the montage style here because throwing it back to the opening scene with the cult, there is a little bit of that music video element to some of the scenes in this film between this here where we're meeting Ingrid when she's modeling, or the previous showing the cult, not really revealing anyone, but it was really a lot of those quick cuts and the angles, something that you might see in like a Saw film in the modern day,
Right.
but it was very music video-ish.
I thought it was going to turn into like a angry robot movie for a minute there with all the, and then like at the very end, like she leaves and like the lightning turns red and there's just this ominous music focused on the robot. I'm like, is the robot part of it?
Yeah, I'm very confused what she was like. Was she selling those robots, or was?
It was a Micro Center ad.
Oh, well,
Was it the robot from Rocky 4?
happy birthday, Polly. No, it wasn't. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm still a little salty that they removed the robot in the director's cut, or whatever they called that a couple years ago when they re-released.
Rocky versus Drago version.
Yeah, that version. That's very sad. That robot, Paulie deserved that robot. It was his birthday. You would love if you had a robot for your birthday, Chris. Wouldn't you?
I would. And Yeah, I mean, I could tell it to make those Michael Dudikoff figures that you so desperately
You
crave.
bastard. You better believe you should. Somebody should make them. For God's sake. So after the photo shoot, classic. You know, if there's one thing I learned from watching Skinamax, is that if you're like an artist or photographer, your main job is not being an artist or photographer, it's to get into women's pants.
That's right.
And
Something about being the eye of the beauty,
yeah.
I guess, just creates the sensuality of the scene.
Oh, listen to this guy.
And they can't help themselves.
Ryan Campbell trying to do some phone sex with all you guys.
Some ASMR.
So Dan, the photographer, David Rash, isn't he Sledgehammer?
David Rash was Sledgehammer.
Yeah, that's right.
Another very famous character actor. Do you remember the movie that he did where he was the leader of the biker gang, Masters of Menace?
I do not. Sounds like something you should
That
be.
was a
Sounds like something Matt Spector would cover. He likes to do motorcycle movies for some reason.
well, it's a comedy. It's not an action movie,
Oh,
but it was, back in the day when Comedy Central used to show movies in the early morning, like 7 a.m., 9 a.m., used to be on all the time. But it was him, and it was Lance Kinsey, who played Proctor in Police Academy, was like the goofy Fed who was assigned to the biker gang.
okay.
Just one of those movies from that
I think
era,
I may have
like
seen that pop up
1989,
on YouTube.
1990.
I think I may have seen that pop up on YouTube, and I was like, oh, and I think I thought the same thing I just thought here. Like, oh, motorcycle movie. I'll let Matt know about it, but I think I did do just a little bit of research. I'm like, oh wait, this isn't an action movie. I'm not giving it to him.
Not as cool as Running Cool or something of that ilk.
Right. Um, but yeah, so Dan, he's putting the moves on Ingrid, but she is. It's very clear she is not interested at all. They kind of meet up. They see the security guard at the elevator. He's like, "Oh, you want me to escort you down?" Very nice security guard, but Dan's like, "Oh no, I got this." So they make their way down to the parking garage, and
Is it a dangerous parking garage?
we'll find out, won't we? Security guard back up to the security guard. Oh, she forgot her bag, so he's starting to go down to the elevator. And that's when, at about the same time, Ingrid's like, "Oh, I forgot my bag," so she's making her way back to the elevator. Dan still trying to get into her panties this entire time, and that, Ryan Campbell, is when this parking garage turns into one of the world's most dangerous parking garages.
Let's go.
Because the cult shows up again. They are now on to Ingrid. She saw too much, and this is like the first kill. Like, it's like almost necessary for them. Like the other ones were just like, we just want to kill somebody. This was focused and on purpose. Like, they want to kill this woman. And go figure, it's the one they fail at. But they do kill the sprinkler system, which is very reminiscent to Highlander. Get the sprinkler system going in the parking garage.
Just adds to the whole scene,
And then,
making everything wet.
oh, what did you think of this, Ryan Campbell? Security guard gets out. And then they just smash that poor man.
Right, yeah, I don't know what he
wall.
thought his gun was going to do to a speeding van coming at him, but seems like a 1 or 2 feet to the left and or right would have fixed that problem. But
he gets
that's not even my favorite part. My favorite part of the blood, the very dangerous scene that happens here in his parking garage, is a dude that just comes out in like the suit that just happens to walk into this mess and then just gets himself killed. He's just like, oh, just to add to the
furthering our theory about not being a nice person in this movie, because
Mm-hmm.
being nice is just going to get you killed.
That's right.
And
if you're on the naughty list, you're staying off the dead list.
And
that's
just cementing my theory that parking garages are indeed dangerous places. Just for any, you could just be walking through, minding your business. Dead. Anyway, Ingrid manages to hide. She is scared, very scared. And the only thing that really saves her is that the sound of oncoming sirens, which is like, okay, we're not ready for the world to see us just yet. We got to go. So off goes the Night Slasher and his crew. Ingrid taken to the hospital. That's where she's interviewed by our cops, Sergeant Gonzalez, Lieutenant Cabretti. And she mentions the scary man she saw while she was driving. And they get Wonderful sketch of him.
Loose ends. Bite you every time.
And then we cut to Night Slasher, and he's sharpening. He's got this cool blade he carries, Ryan Campbell.
That's right. It looks like one that I would get when I was like a teenager and would go to Gatlinburg in the summer with my family at all the sword shops and knife shops. It's got like the curved blade and it's got the spikes coming out of the part that goes around your knuckles, and he's got the cool block that he just keeps sharpening it the entire time. Very cool, distinct edgelord kind of knife there. Very cool.
And
The type of weapon that someone from Cobra might actually have.
you're right. You're right. We also see Stalk. She's there with her man. She said, "Oh, I know where Ingrid is." How does she know all this? We wonder. We don't know quite yet why she knows all this.
We don't know much about really anything that's going on. The movie doesn't really burden itself with reasons.
Exactly.
Things just happen. We just take them at face value. They're just
That's
happening.
right. It's not exactly what you may call a plot. It's much more of like a series of somewhat related scenes of action, which is perfectly fine.
Well, Cobra gets that sketch, and he's going to take it back to his place to check it against his files. Remo's just tearing up the place, but that's all right. We'll be all right. So yeah, he's got his own like computer set up at his cool apartment that also has a giant Pepsi sign out on the balcony.
Wonderful. I don't know if I'd buy that Cabretti would even know how to use a computer though in 1986. Like nothing about his character makes me believe that he wouldn't just stab it with his pizza cutter.
Right. They're called.
Well, no, you don't think that like he's got like the pizza grease on the keyboard, like he didn't wash his hands first.
Right,
He's just
for sure.
eating cutting some pizza with scissors and then typing away.
So yeah, he's got files. Gonzalez will remain at the hospital, supposedly, with Ingrid, and in the morning they're going to move her to a safe house. All right. Now we cut to Night Slasher. Even though, I guess they figured there's a sketch of him. He's giving himself a makeover, dyeing his hair, and he's going to head to the hospital where he will pose as a janitor to make his way up to Ingrid's floor.
Yeah, someone has seen his face. He's got to change it up.
So, Cobra.
You don't kill 18 people without knowing the game.
I guess I haven't killed anyone, so I wouldn't know. While Cobra is at his place checking the files, he gets the call from Gonzalez saying, "Hey, what did you need?" And he's, "Where are you? Why are you at the freaking police precinct?" "Oh, I got a message for me to meet you here." And
bum bum bum.
We better get to the hospital. So
to the Cobra-mobile.
So he attempts to, but there's guys waiting for him. So he's got to take care of them first. And while he does so, it's still slowing him up a bit. And
it seems like one of those moments where it'd be really wise for him to at least have the little stick-on police light that he could put on his car when he needs to get through traffic and get somewhere fast, as opposed to
the Leslie Nielsen light from Police Squad.
Yeah, as opposed to having it completely unmarked. No one would even know that you were a cop car.
Listen, it's not like LA's known for having bad traffic.
Good point.
Right? I mean, it's usually like streets are abandoned at all times. So the Night Slasher has indeed found Ingrid and is terrorizing her, and she's trying to keep away. And this makes this hospital feel like one of the world's most dangerous hospitals. Cobra, you're giving me a lot of nice material. So Ingrid manages to evade him, however. She's very crafty.
I was trying to think of other dangerous hospitals. You put me on the spot there.
Well, I've already done 10 of them, but there's, that's why I do these. It says Volume 1. So anyone who goes to Bulletproof Action and reads any of my World's Most Dangerous, I'm aware there are more. I'm not saying these 10 are the only ones. These are sometimes just the first ones that pop into my mind. Sometimes, like when I did the hospitals, it was around Halloween. So I included Halloween 2 in there.
That whole movie takes place in a hospital for the most part.
Right. So, there's a method to my madness is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I think if we get to World's Most Dangerous Hospitals Volume 2, don't be surprised. to see Cobra on that list.
What about City Emergency Hospital?
Well, no, I don't know if that's going to make the cut. This, oh yeah, so she does manage to get away. She gets to the hallway, pulls the fire alarm, which kind of is like a double-edged sword because she's safe because of the chaos, but that also,
Yeah, she just hid behind a bunch of meat shields is what she was trying there.
yeah, so she's okay. He's not going to be able to get her now because there's way too many people coming and going, but that also allows him to slip out undetected. Which takes us back to
Live to kill another day.
That's right. So we go back to the police brain trust. Capretti he's like they got somebody on the inside. They have to. How did anybody know any of this is happening? And of course, Monty doesn't buy that. The chief tells Cobra that he has an attitude problem. And did you recognize the chief from anything, Chris? I know I did.
I'm trying to think back to the chief. You're gonna have to pick up the slack on this one because I'm brain fogging at the
He
moment.
was the bartender from Easy Money. A good
Yes.
Al Avery.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like one of Monty's buddy, a good Monty.
Yep. So the one of the best scenes in that movie is the day after Rodney and Joe Pesci get in their little driving around town late at night, and Rodney needs aspirin and drinks the holy water before the wedding in church, and you hear Val in the background. You got to listen for it. He just goes, "Oh no." He saw it and it made that whole scene. You just hear that little commentary in the background.
I'm gonna have
What a great movie that is. I'm gonna easy.
yeah, I'm gonna have to pay attention next time I watch that.
He was in the Magnificent Seven.
That's old school.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got an attitude of Cobra's like, just a little one. And we move to it's time to move Ingrid to the safe house and assign to the case to ride along with Gonzalez, who will be following Cobretti and Ingrid. We figure out who the insider is, Chris.
It's someone who likes to stalk their prey.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the one and only Nancy Stalk. She's in there.
Never trust a cop with a perm.
So Cobra has Ingrid.
I live my life by.
Okay. How often does that come up for you? That's maybe
You'd be surprised.
I would be, obviously.
That's going to be a screenplay that Ryan's going to write. Cops with perms. It's
right.
coming.
You know when
A cap bub.
You know what I've always remembered was when Bobby Heenan, when he just got his fresh perm, and it was always kind of disturbing to me. But that was the style at the time. So yeah, Cobra gets Ingrid. He's going to take her. They're in the Cobra mobile. Gonzalez riding right behind with Stalk, but it's like not for very long because the cult instantly strikes and just rams Gonzalez's car, incapacitates it. And now we got the chase. It is on. There's cars flying out of parking garages. Santa Claus is watching a gate. There's nitrous. Do you ever have nitrous in any of your cars, Ryan Campbell?
I did not know. Maybe like the energy drink in the cup holder, possibly, but no.
Okay.
And I wonder at the time. I mean, because I feel like growing up in the era when I was at that just started driving age when Fast and Furious and stuff was coming out, and that's what obviously was our introduction to nitrous and NOS and all that. Did when this came out, did you know what that was?
No, I can't imagine I did. It just was something cool. It was something
like you knew that shiny red button made car go fast.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it was just a booster, like the turbo jet
boost.
or like the Batmobile.
Turbo boost in the kit. You have to have something. I don't know. He flipped the switch and it went faster. So I guess I put 2 and 2 together. I don't know what the hell nitrous is. I still don't really know what it is. I know it goes.
There you go. That's all you need to know.
That's all. The chase does eventually end when the Cobra mobile flips and it's significantly damaged. But fortunately,
I counted about 5 times in that chase where like the Cobra mobile would probably be inoperable.
Yeah.
Based on whatever hit it took, to where you could actively see like the wheel snap, and then in the next scene it's perfectly fine. But
I wonder how many Cobra mobiles they went through on the movie. I wonder.
Probably
It
still
had to
well
be a
under the
few.
budget of the Fast and Furious movies.
Because yeah, I mean, there are a few scenes where like it looks to take some sort of a terminal hit, and I doubt that they repaired it and brought it back to shoot another scene.
They just had a couple of them. Cobra and Ingrid, however, don't suffer any significant damage, and they're able to walk away from the accident. We go back to police headquarters. Cobretti is now sharing a theory that it's not just one killer that they're after, it's a whole army of them. And once again, to shit all over it, is that goddamn Monty. Shut up already.
Yeah,
I hope somebody punches him before this movie's over with.
I think you might get your wish.
It's the season of wishes. Cobra's revised plan is now to take Ingrid out, get the hell out of Los Angeles. We'll go upstate. And they begin their journey. We get another classic 80s type. You got to have the music. You have to have music.
Yeah, we get a little road trip movie in the middle of our action film.
Yeah, we get a little feel the heat. And yeah, they take a pit stop for some gas. Gonzalez is there telling Ingrid that Cobra's first name is Marion. And this leads to some flirting.
Really the first time that we've he's been very by the book so far with all this.
And they hit the road again, and they stop at a foundry town for some lunch and more flirting.
Ooh.
Then guess what happens? They check into the motel for the night to resume their journey in the morning, and that's just going to lead to some more stuff. But that's when, before they call it a night, Cobra goes outside. There's Stalk on the payphone.
But why would she be on the payphone? There's a phone in the room.
That's the first.
Sounds like this case is getting cracked.
Oh, yeah.
Curiouser and curiouser.
And then we get a shot. Trouble is coming. But they obviously are in LA, so it's going to be a bit. So then we go back to the room, and Cobra is sharing a room with Ingrid. So she has round-the-clock protection, and we get to see his arsenal. And he's loaded for bear. He's ready. And he's like, hey, you better get some rest. But then the flirting escalates.
And he didn't even need a camera.
Flirting escalates. And you know,
he might wish he had a camera, being alone in a motel room with.
I hear she was still impressed with his focal length.
So the two, they're making kissy face. But the next morning, trouble is still coming, and Stalk isn't in her room. And that's when they look across the way and see her talking to bad guys, and perhaps the line of the movie from Gonzalez, I never liked that bitch.
Well, why don't you say something, Gonzalez? No, it doesn't do us any good right now. Yeah. You're kind of playing the results here.
So, and yeah, we get a big motel shootout. And you know what? That made this motel one of the world's most dangerous motels.
Oh, man, this movie is chock full of the most dangerous list.
Yeah. When I was watching, I'm like, oh.
It's like a who's who of the top dangerous locations for an action film.
It really is. I don't know if this next one would be a top, because after the shootout, we get another chase. This time, though, it's Ingrid behind the wheel, and Cobra's in the bed of the truck, just shooting at the bad guys following him. He's very good, keeps his balance.
World's most dangerous woman drivers.
Oh, okay. You're lucky that our audience is already like 99.9% male. Yeah. Because if we had a female audience, they'd be real pissed with you right now, Chris. More pissed than I get at you for not giving me my goddamn Michael Dudikoff figure.
And that's pissed.
Yeah, oh yeah. I cuss you. I call you a bastard as soon as I hang up every time. Ingrid, even she gets to drive through like the fiery roadblock. And then they dip out and go into an orange grove. And I don't think there's enough movies that I could come up with the world's most dangerous orange groves.
This used to be all orange groves.
Yeah, that's about the only other one I could think of. And that's not dangerous. I guess dangerous if you're an orange to developers.
There you go.
But yeah, Night Slasher and the Cult aren't far behind. And then Ingrid runs to the nearby foundry that we established this is a foundry town. Stalk right behind her. She's taking shots at Ingrid. Misses Ingrid, but there's some poor guard just like watching the frickin' gizmos in there.
Another poor schmuck is
Yep.
collateral
If
damage.
you are an innocent bystander in this movie, there's like a 40% chance you're going to get got.
Mm-hmm. And
Rip poor guy in suit in the parking garage.
that's right. And Cobretti, he comes in, and now this has quickly become one of the world's most dangerous factories, and this was in fact on my world's most dangerous factories list, which coincidentally was the big Labor Day post.
Ah, perfect. Synergy.
Does everyone understand out there? Thank you.
Yeah.
Put some work into that column.
That's right. So Cobretti sets a trap. He's using a grenade. He sets the grenade there, and then these guys come in, and he just shoots that, and they die, or they get lit. They just get blown up, or they're the ones on fire. He burns up a lot of bad guys. Night Slasher also makes his way there. It's chaotic in this frickin' foundry.
It's dangerous.
A lot of cannon fodder. A lot of cult cannon fodder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and damn Stalk. So Cobra's burning up bad guys. He shoots Stalk before he can shoot Ingrid. It's not a kill shot, however, but it takes her down. But Night Slasher waiting at the top of a ladder that Ingrid's climbing. But before he can get a hold of her, Cobra just like shoots his gun all crazy up into the air, which makes Night Slasher retreat. And we get the classic cat and mouse Ryan Campbell, and they make sure you see something.
That's right. Effective storytelling. I bring it up all the time. Show me, don't tell me. They definitely show you with a nice big long focus on a giant hook that's just dangling there, and you'd be remiss to think that's probably going to come into play later.
And Night Slasher has his cool blade, his signature blade, and he's talking smack. Let's bleed, pig. Want to go to hell with me? Blah, 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 blah.
He's going to change the world with his one-liners.
He surely will. His cult is the future as far as he agrees, but know your history. Classic. And then, Night Slasher's looks like, okay, you can't shoot. He goes, oh, you can't shoot me. You're a cop.
Which seems like
I have
really, for a guy that seems to kind of do a little bit of studying and know some things, even if you knew nothing, just looking at Cobra, I don't think that line would go as far as you think it would.
You should have watched 10 to Midnight to see where that would get you.
I'm glad that you mentioned that film because there are times watching back Cobra especially over probably like the last decade or so when, we've been very canon heavy in our conversations. But could you picture 10 to Midnight, but instead of Charles Bronson, it's Cobra?
New article series coming to Bulletproof Action called Switcheroo.
Yeah.
Freaky Friday.
The only reason I couldn't is because of the dad aspect.
True.
I could see Cobra as a dad.
Yeah, but was his daughter be old enough that...
Yeah, not at that point. Stallone wouldn't have wanted to play that old at that point.
So where Bronson had an adult daughter, and these adult women were getting killed by this naked murderer. So, no, I don't think it could be Cobra. I mean, if you took that aspect of it, where he's just... but then you're basically... It could be any cop going after.
Then you're losing the subplot with Andrew Stevens and everything.
Exactly. So, no. The answer to your question, Chris, is no. But... perhaps there's another switcheroo that would work. Anyway. Oh yeah. So yeah, you can't shoot me. You have to take me in. It's the law. And then Cobra has another classic line. This is where the law stops and I start. And just as he does that, frickin' Stalk jumps on his back. And she's the worst. Well, I think Monty might be the worst. It's like, I just wish she would get shot, is what I said at this time. And Night Slasher shoots in Cobra's direction, but he turns and he ends up shooting Stalk instead. So she dead. And now it's one-on-one time. Cobra has a chain. Slasher has his blade. And that big hook Ryan Campbell was there for a reason. It wasn't just interesting background. It served a purpose.
That's right. We get the slasher impaled on the hook and sent for a ride down the assembly line. And he gets firsthand knowledge of how effective and efficient this factory can be when it's working through the assembly line.
And yeah, so Cobra has officially saved Ingrid once and for all. The
A lot of work to save one
the
woman.
threat has been eliminated. In the aftermath, we see that Gonzalez is being loaded into an ambulance, and he's craving gummy bears. That's certainly something we had not covered. Is Gonzalez is a junk food junkie or garbage stomach? I think he referred to himself as.
I'm glad of all the things that we did not establish in this movie that we did establish.
I want to make sure we covered that. I don't want any nasty grams coming my way. Captain Sears.
Well, actually,
you're right. Captain Sears thanks Cobra for his hard work. And Cobra's like, hey, can you replace my Cobra mobile? No, that's not in the budget, dude. Monty then shows, hey, no hard feelings. And Cobra shakes his hand. And then, Chris, he does something that I was hoping he would do.
He decides to lean into his Rocky persona and delivers a nice shot with the left
Mm-hmm.
and knocks him on his ass.
Yeah, we know you're a southpaw Stallone. And then he just takes one of the motorcycles from the cult because why not?
I ain't gonna need it.
They're going to end up in the impound yard anyway.
They're
They
either
can't
in
replace the
prison
car,
or in
they have to take the
hell.
motorcycle.
So there you go.
Ingrid gets on, and the two ride off, and they ride off perfectly in between the end credits, which I thought was very good stunt driving work, Ryan Campbell.
Yeah, and excellent framing too from the cinematographer. Good stuff.
All right, well, we have hit the end. Final Cobra thoughts, Ryan. This I think was the first time you watched this thing from beginning to end. If I'm
it wasn't the first time I seen it, but I think the only other time I ever watched it was just like at your house on like a Saturday afternoon, just sitting around and watching it. So I don't know how much if it was getting my full attention, but yeah, I mean, I know it's one of your favorites. Seemed a little by the book to me, but I think it might be one of those instances where it wrote the book and then a lot of things after kind of took from it. So, when you see everything that's a derivative of the original thing, sometimes it can be a little difficult when you watch the original thing. So, but it's really well done, especially compared to some of the other kind of canon stuff at the time. I think you could see a little bit of the influence that the Warner Brothers brought to it, and things just had a little bit of a different palette. Things were maybe a little bit crisper with some of the action and everything, but it still kind of had that spirit there. So, yeah, it's a good little action film to sit down and watch. I can see why it's so beloved by so many. Just a little light on plot, but it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's not a surprising element. Chris.
So we talked recently about popcorn films, and this is the ultimate turn your brain off popcorn film. Really, it's just, a reason to bounce from A to B, action scene to action scene. Like Ryan said, it's minimal plot, but it's Sylvester Stallone at his peak. The action's great. You've got a memorable villain in the Night Slasher. You've got plenty of people that you hate. Believe it or not, this was the toned down version
Right.
of Stallone's script when he tried doing the Beverly Hills Cop rewrite. So there was actually more gore and gruesomeness and still little plot. But, this was something that I grew up watching with my cousins. And you can't call it a fun movie, but when you are watching it for the action, that's exactly what it is. It's not a movie that you watch to chuckle at and be entertained. It's like I said, it's not a buddy cop comedy, but it's a fun movie. And it's one of those full circle things because we talk about Stallone rewriting Beverly Hills Cop and leading to the creation of this film. And Brigitte Nielsen, 1 year later, would star in the sequel to the actual blockbuster Beverly Hills Cop. And then I have to ask you, with the end of this film, with what it pertains to our conversation just a moment ago, are we going to get a world's most dangerous meat hooks column?
Well, that
Because I have a suggestion
that
for
wasn't
you.
a meat
The
hook.
one that
Just would
comes
have
in,
to be any hook.
well, any hook. But I have a suggestion. The one that comes into play at the end of Undefeatable with Cynthia
Oh
Rothrock.
yeah, you're right.
The world's greatest fight scene,
Well,
which I think that meme video was like 20 years old or something now. But folks, if you haven't seen Undefeatable, go and check that one out. And check out my review at bulletproofaction.com.
Oh, always plugging. Always be plugging. You mentioned the this was a toned down version, but I've heard there's actually a work print. That's like been a long rumored thing that there's a work print of Cobra out there somewhere.
I'll have to check with my guy on Twitter because there's a guy that I follow, and he's usually just posting stuff, at his whimsy. Like, hey, I've got this. Like, here you
Right.
go. He posted like the original Scream work print not that long ago, but he actually will take requests to try to track stuff down. So maybe there's something out there. Maybe there's something
Yeah.
up on the archive. Maybe this guy can find it. So who knows? Maybe we can get the full release of Cobra at some point.
Ask him about that and ask him about the Dudikoff figure. So yeah, there it is. Cobra, definitely one of those movies that I remember watching when it came out. I think, like it was a weird thing because like there were some R-rated movies that it's like, no, I'm not going to be able to get away with. Like my parents are not going to let me watch this movie. But I think because of Stallone with Rocky, it was like
I was going to say he had established as being trustworthy to
I was
parents, I guess.
grandfathered in on Stallone movies. So if there was a Stallone movie, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we'll watch that. This didn't really have any kind of nudity or anything. Obviously, it had plenty of violence, but yeah. So yeah, this one's been with me for many, many years, and always one I like to revisit when I can. And obviously, we had a perfect opportunity to do so right here on the podcast. So before we go, let's talk about social media because we are on Blue Sky at Bulletproof Pod. We're on Twitter/X at Bulletproof Pod, and Instagram. You can find us at Bulletproof Action, as well as Facebook and Threads. Toyman, I know at this point nobody's going to get anything for Christmas from you guys, but what if you get money for Christmas? They could go to Figures Toy Company, and you guys will be happy to give them some post-Christmas fun.
Absolutely. If you've got some Christmas cash burning a hole in your pocket, if the kids are like, hey, I didn't get this and you want to make up for it, if Santa didn't deliver what they really wanted, go to figurestoycompany.com. If your kid is a wrestling fan, we have literally hundreds upon hundreds of wrestling figures and accessories. If you're a trading card collector, think of it this way. We've got rookie figures. That's right. The first ever action figures of popular stars like Swerve Strickland, LA Knight, aka Eli Drake, Brian Pillman Jr., as well as legends like Jim Cornette and the Midnight Express. Plus, we've got our steel cage, our authentic size ring. We've got the new roadie cases, the production cases. We've got the arena stairs. Tons of products, action figures, and accessories available now at figurestoycompany.com, along with Santa Claus himself. So maybe you want to get the Santa figure and put him on display next year. Maybe you want to put Mo, Larry, and Curly right next to him. We've even got Batman if you're a superhero guy or girl. So please check out figurestoycompany.com and check us out on social media at Figures Toy Company on Instagram and Facebook, at Figures Toy Co. on Twitter.
All right. Next time here on the podcast, because it is a jam-packed December here on the podcast, we got one more Christmas action movie, and we're going to drop it on Christmas Eve because it's going to be a Merry Christmas, if you will, because we're going to talk about PM Entertainment's Riot from 1996, starring Gary Daniels, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Patrick Kilpatrick, another one of the great character actors and great villains. I love Riot, Toyman. Brian, I don't think we've ever watched Riot.
No, we have not.
So you're welcome to join us again for that. That would be a good first time watch for you.
For sure.
And then after that, we will have our special year in review episode on New Year's Eve. So again, a jam-packed December. And I don't know if I want to let this out yet, but we might have a special guest again come January.
Ooh.
Excellent.
Teasing.
Mm-hmm. We might have.
You want to give a teaser to the people, or are we just going to say we might have?
We might have one. I feel like I've already jinxed it just saying it now, but
we're working. It's behind the scenes.
It's the opposite of speaking it into existence.
Right. I could speak it out of existence. So there you go. So we will be back next week with Riot on Christmas Eve. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me for this episode. Any
Thank you
final
for having
words
me,
from
as
either
always.
of you?
Nothing really. No. Check out Skeleton Crew this week and weeks to come, and just keep checking in on Bulletproof Action. See what we're up to. Always look forward to the end of the year when we start reviewing the most viewed articles. I always I like your the searches from the year. That's always an interesting laugh to see what people search for. So
Got a lot
end
of
of the year
that, and
stuff.
plus so much.
Lots of fun.
We've got, and in addition to the fun, unfortunately, we also have a lot of wonderful people that we lost this year, and we certainly want to pay tribute to them. And maybe pass out some awards too for some movies, some unofficial awards from Bulletproof Action. All that's coming up. So thank you everyone for listening. And as always, stay tuned for more of the Bulletproof Podcast.